Oh, good afternoon. I've been talking for 5 minutes and I've explained everything. I know I've got to explain it again. I didn't realise I was muted. Anyway, I'll explain that in a little while about these matches. But anyway, there's 2 matches clash at 6 o'clock. I'm going to be doing the Mr. Strocum Fast Eddie match because those 2 guys, I was approached by Fast Eddie and he asked me what time would suit or any sort of time. I said, well, as long as it's later on in the day, my time, because they're in the States or Canada. I think Mr. Strocum might be. But anyway, to cut a long story short, that's the match I'm going to do simply because those guys arranged it. Unfortunately, I'd forgotten about Cobra and DJ Simon, who had arranged theirs a week ago. But out of respect for the fact that these 2 guys are in the States or Canada and asked me I'm going to do theirs, we'll keep an eye on the DJ Simon match and Cobra. And there's another match later on tonight, that one there, with Disabler and Jeeves at 9 o'clock, which I won't be doing. Anyway, thanks for joining, guys. We've just made it in time. I'm glad you asked if I was in silent mode because I'd have been at it for the next hour or so. I totally forgot all about it. Just let me adjust that. I'll do it in the room because for some strange reason, when I try to move the chat, my on-screen chat, and move the picture, the logo, when I'm in the lobby, it doesn't work so good. But when I'm in the room, everything works fine. It's weird. But both these players were here when I arrived. I had about an hour's nap after I had a light snack and a cup of coffee. I had a nap in front of the telly. I don't know what I was watching. I totally forgot. The room is up. Both these guys are here. And LegitMatthew is in, waiting for Shibo to arrive. Good afternoon or good morning, Bill. Good evening or good afternoon to Stephen. Napnicker's there as well. And one thing I'm going to say about Shibo, he won, I think it was a 10-ball world championship that we did a long while ago. I think that was in VP3 as a matter of fact. And he only ever comes online now, and you'll never see him in a room with anybody. He comes online and he locks himself in a room. And he's not got any match practice whatsoever in goodness knows how many years. And I said to him, I said, look, you need to have a match, you need to go into a room and get some racks under your belt. And he says that practicing in private is better for him. Well, LegitMatthew's been in the thick of it. Well, it's the only time he has done because he's never done any at all. Maybe he's decided to take my advice. Maybe that's it, because I said to him, I said, look, you need to start playing matches. You know, if you're in a room on your own, you're going to win all the time. And or was it runner up? I can't remember. I knew he was in something. Good afternoon to Albinario. And like I say, he's not had any real match practice at all, and never does. Obviously, his time and commitment on VP4 is a lot less than he probably would like because of work commitments and everything else like that, which is the same for most of us. And as I said, LegitMatthew, he has been in the thick of it because LegitMatthew was the victor in that first match at the top of the bracket against Boots or Steve Chaplin by 11 racks to 9. This match probably won't go as long, and I still think that Shibo should be the favourite. So LegitMatthew's at the top of the screen, but he's at the bottom of the table, if I'm right in thinking. I got that wrong again. I can't remember what this does. Totally confused. Anyway, Shibo has won the lag and straight away scratched. Now maybe LegitMatthew will settle down a wee bit more that he's had time on this table. Now he looks as if he's looking at the stripes. He's went for the split to take care of the one problem ball, and it'd be better to take that pink down the rail, and then he can deal with the 10 and the 14. The other benefit would be that if he took those, he could have potted the 11 and left himself on that 8, but anyway, he's got his own way of doing it. He's blocked himself out in the 14, but he can still now take the 10 and the 14. And the only worry would be that if he's going to leave the 15 till last, he needs to make sure he finds that gap between the 6 and 7 to get on this 8, which is plenty enough room. And that's not the way to do it, I'm afraid. He should have took the 10 first. At worst, he would have went to the rail. If he had hooked himself, he'd have got the 15, but like I say, players do it their own way sometimes. Maybe not always the best choice. And this has just got to be tucked away as well. Well, that's another reason why I didn't like leaving that 15 ball there. Because this cue ball has got to go across the table twice, I think. I don't think he can baby this in. He's got to make sure he comes back out, because he has to get the 15 ball to the hole. And that's why things go wrong, simply because his pattern wasn't good to start with. That's not the way I'd have done it. I would have preferred to have left the ball on the left side to make it easier to get on the 8. And the one saving grace for Matthew is he's not left anything easy for Shibo. And lo and behold, Shibo gets lucky as well. So we've got two misses, 2 errors, 1 each so far in this first rack. LegitMatthew going for the kick. That's not going to keep the line. So Shibo should be winning the first rack, unless he's fallen asleep. Well, he'll probably take the 6 ball now. 6, 5, 1, then 8 up the table. Good morning to Run Out Rob. Now, while this is finishing off this rack, while I was inadvertently muted, just to explain, this is the first match today of 4 matches, 2 of which I'm going to stream. This one that's just started 10 minutes ago, and Shibo wins it, although he shouldn't have. He should never have the chance to do so. LegitMatthew got his shot. I'll say that again. He got his shot choices wrong in that attempted run out. We've got 2 matches that have ended up clashing with one another. And they start in just under 3 hours time at 6 PM GMT. We've got the first match between Cobra and DJ Simon. and that match was arranged a week ago. And then early on in the week, I got contacted by Fast Eddie saying that he was going to arrange his match with Mr. Strocum. And Eddie's from the States. Mr. Strocum, I'm not 100%. I think he might be Canada. If he's not, he's the States anyway. So I was asked if I would prefer a sort of time that would suit me, and I said, look, you know, any time after such and such a time, GMT time, and they went ahead and arranged it. What I didn't know is they'd arranged it for 6 PM tonight as well. So out of the courtesy of the fact that they done it, and I know that Cobra and Simon probably did the same, but I'm going to be streaming the Mr. Strocum Fast Eddie match at 6 PM, and we'll keep an eye on what is happening in the Cobra DJ Simon match. And then there's that last match between Disabler and whoever it is, I've totally forgotten, and it's at 9 PM my time, which is too late. Let's have a reminder, who was it again? Bottom of the bracket, I think it is. Or not far off it. Where is it? No, it isn't the bottom of the bracket. That shows you how much I remember. Oh, and there's another match arranged, which I thought would be for the middle of the night. That is tomorrow, but no, it's 2 AM tonight, I think. That which is Monday morning my time, so I'll be long since in bed. Where was that other match? That's the one. Disabler and Jeeves. So those are the matches today. That's the one that I'm going to be doing, Mr. Strocum and Fast Eddie. And the match above is Cobra and DJ Simon. So that's all the matches today. Another error from Matthew. And that'll just help Shibo to settle in even more. Although he never had a shot really. Well, this is a good table, but once again, Matthew has to do this right. And he should be, if he's got the angle in that 11, which he hasn't, but he wants to get up the table and take care of that, whatever ball it is, the 14 or the 10, I can't see what colour it is, it's the 14. And he should be taking care of that. Now this has got to keep going as well if he's going to take the 11. Or is it the 13? It's the 13. So now he's in a bit of a no man's land here. He needs to play a good pot in this. That's okay. But it's also a perfect way just to send a message to Shibo that okay, you got lucky, never left Shibo anything on, but with the table wide open, it's always vital that you put the rack away. Just to let your opponent know that you're here and you're not going to be folding and playing into his hands. So vital that he gets this rack out. And he has to go high enough. The higher the better, the straighter on this 9. You see, again, he's now in a bit of a quandary here to be able to hold this 8 ball. Now, for most experienced players playing this game, it shouldn't be a problem. And again, he's fallen at the last hurdle. And you know, that's 2 goes he's had at running the table and just not getting good shape. And once again though, he's got away with it pretty much, unless Shibo can dig out a pot here. What's that, Rob? Company Hugh, what does that mean? I'm not on your wavelength, or I've missed something in the chat. Well, this time, cut into the side, and again, Matthew's not finding the line, which was the tail of the first match he had with Boots, with Steve. Again, this is another one just to test the nerve, but it's 2 racks that have got away for Matthew. He could be 2-0 up. And in it goes. Now, Shibo breaks off, but once again, I think that's 2 breaks he's had and 2 scratches. So it is. What are you talking about Discord? Are you on? I'll say that again. Are you on Discord? Because I'll tell you what the problem is, Rob. The problem is I've got to tab out, switch Discord on, and then I've got to go through this authorization process to get you into the room. You know, plus the fact I've got to find you as well. Which, you know, that take 5 minutes or more. We should have done this, if we were going to do this, should have done it before the match started. It's not quite as simple getting you into the room. I've got to find you first. Probably a good bit of advice for anybody else who wants to join in at any time as a co-commentator. If you want to do it, we need to set things up before the match starts. And that way any issues or problems can be resolved. No, and volume level isn't the main problem. The main problem is trying to find one another in that bloody Discord. It's all about sending invites and whatever your name is with your number, hashtag number after it and all of that crap. Because the thing is, if I know I'm going to do commentary with somebody, I'll boot Discord up and have it up and running. And the only 2 that are on there are Steve and what's his name again? Hairpig, who are now. I've managed to work out how to set it up properly. That's what I'm saying. I'm not familiar with it at all. In fact, here's a question, Rob. Are you in the VP4 lobby on Discord? Have you registered on that, or whatever the hell it is you do? Can you join it? Well, LegitMatthew's only got his own self to blame here. That's That's 3 racks gone. And too much self-inflicted damage, doing all the hard work and then failing twice to put the racks away. And this is why even though Shibo hasn't had the match practice, I think he still should be far too good and more consistent than LegitMatthew. And here he goes again for a third time, although that 11 ball, let's have a look at that. He's chose the stripes and the 11 ball is tight. Well, he's managed to get it. Now let's not tempt fate here, but he's dead straight on this ball. And he's going to have to probably roll through and leave the 14 long unless he can kill it right there and squeeze it past the 6. So he has to decide what he's going to do. And he's not, I don't think, gone far enough. I mean, he can pot it, but again, he's at the same hurdle where he's left himself awkward, having to pull out a pot, and he's pretty much more or less going to sell out if he doesn't get this, right on the pocket to put pressure on Shibo. He didn't even look as well. He is. He's jacking up, but so Shibo now just has to be careful of that 1 and 3. The 6 ball's the main issue there. Now that could be a possible lifeline, and these are not sitting very nice, but again, Shibo, that's the other thing I forgot to mention as well. Shibo's problem is that he gets the idea that he can get into some sort of rhythm by hitting shots far too quickly and not applying himself, and he does things like that. And once again, though, he's got extremely fortunate to leave the cue ball nailed to the 14. Now, Shibo's always going too quick for my liking. I don't think it does himself any favours. He might defend himself saying, that's the way he likes to play, but it brings out those errors. And luckily, Matthew didn't move any of those balls there, so now Shibo's back at the table. It's leaving him the work to do, and Matthew's just got to hope he's going to get another go at this. Now, what angle has he got? He's just got... Well, he may well try and stun and move something, although he doesn't need to, but he's just trying to open it up a wee bit better, and that'll do. And, well, that's just gone too far. Although loads of room to get on the 8. Again, another pressure shot because he's in the middle of nowhere. And Matthew just, again, has to have his fingers crossed he's going to get a break here and get off the mark. Well, this is his best opportunity here. Now, once again, he doesn't want to go right across the table so that he's inside the line of that 8 ball. He needs to stay in the table. And he's managed to do it. And providing he takes his time, he should be on the board. Long overdue, though, it has to be said. What you can't do though is think about the ones that got away. You have to do that after the match, because he could be in front here, and he knows that. So trailing 3-1. Shibo comes up dry in the break. Stripes. I've got 1 ball up the table. The stripes look a good call to me. That 13 goes. In fact, I'll tell you, the stripes look good. The problem is he isn't sitting good on one of them. That's the problem. But he's got the split out there, dealt with the problem, and gone for the solids. So again, you know, this is a thing that has been spoken about in matches before. Running into other object balls when you don't necessarily need to. You know, you hit 2 stripes here. Now, anything can happen when you do that. You can bring the ball into play and it can block you on the ball you were trying to play on. Paramount importance that you don't start running into balls. But if you don't get the right shape, sometimes there's no option, and then things tend to go from bad to worse. So, see again straight away, LegitMatthew having a bang. We've no real idea where that cue ball was going to end up playing things at that pace. So now these strike balls are all Shibos. The one up table, which I think is the 14 again, is it? Comfortably goes past the 1, so again there's no reasonable excuse that he shouldn't be taking this out. Again, the main concern is the fact that he's got 2 awkward balls to get on in a particular gap between the 7 and the 8. If he takes the 10, he has to make sure he doesn't come back too far. He's got a slight angle on it. But whatever one he chooses, he's got to play a decent shot to get on that 8. Now this is fairly straight, although there is an angle, but the angle would bring you into the 1 ball if you go forward. So he's played the little stun drop, which is good. Good afternoon to Chico. And now it's 4-1. Well, I think the last one was a dry break. Matthew's break's dry. Ball's all tending over to the left side of the table, apart from the 2. Shibo's gone for the stripes. Is that the 9 ball up in the top rail? I think it is. Well, I think the ball I would take would be the 11 to drop onto the rail. He's gone the other way. Now, that's the issue. He's ended up dead straight. And if he had gone down and taken that 9 first, he could have got up and good for this 13 ball, but he's played it well, and now he's threatened to run away big time here. (5-1), Shibo breaking. I don't know how long LegitMatthew's been in the game in VP4, but or Virtual Pool in general, but or whether he was under a different name. But I've known Shibo for a number of years from VP3, and I do know that he can pot a ball. As I say, he has his flaws, as all of us do, and but he's one of these dangerous players that on the day, you know, he'll start stringing balls together and racks, and they can't be taken lightly. And as I said, that might be just too much for Matthew. The cardinal sin in 8 ball is running all your balls up to the second last one before the 8 and not getting there, and Matthew's committed 2 of those, 3 of those I think. Which have cost him dearly. And again, that type of shot there where he's just, you know, he's banging at a ball. Where's his position? You know, he's he'd have been on the 2, but he's not taking enough time to process information and you know, get the shot done properly. Too much of this just sort of giving it a bang, not getting him set up, get it lined up, and that's falling straight into Shibo's hands. He'll be happy with this all afternoon. Just let Matthew get so far, make his mistake, and pick off what's left. I'll quick look and see who does. I mean, let's assume Shibo goes on to win this. Who does he line up to play next? Where the hell is he again? Well, you see, the winner of this will end up playing Bill, and that'll be a step up. And at the moment, it certainly doesn't look like Matthew's going to be the player to face Bill. Yeah, he was just trying to drag the pace off the cue ball to stop it escaping, and he's hung the ball, but is Matthew going to hold his nerve? Well, the first problem here is obviously he has to get on that right side of the 4 ball. Now he could try stunning past the 8 like that. That's a good shot. You know, it could have went wrong if he ran into the 8, but he managed to avoid it. And now it's all about how he lands on this 8. Well, that's not bad. So it's scraps that Matthew's getting at the moment, but it's just going to be enough to keep him in the match. But he needs, I think he needs 1 or 2 other things to go in his favour, and he could do no worse than getting a ball and a shot to start him off in this rack. Well, he's got a ball. He's got a ball, but again, there's too much mess to work around down the bottom of the table here. And very decent shot here. Okay, he's got a shot up table, but he's going to be hampered. Well, maybe not. I think he's okay, but it is tough to get another shot when you look at the way these stripes are lying. He's probably trying to nip the 12 in. But where's his next ball? It's going to be up table, I think, unless he moves something that brings the 11 into play. Yeah, it's a bit like treading water. You know, trying to hold the tide back. You know, it's a hard job that he's got with this visit. Well, if he gets a little bit fortunate here and doesn't run too low, he can cut the 15. He, strictly speaking, doesn't need to move the 12, but he might try disturbing something here, but he needs to get lucky though. Well, that's brought that pink 12 into play, but he's now dead in the water unless he can pull out a pot on that, whatever it is, 10 or 14. And if he gets it though, he just needs to pocket this pocket weight and keep the cue ball in play past the 2. But then he's still got a stumbling block of that 11 ball. So it's a big ask here. And I think he's overhit that by a country mile. Oh, I think he's got really fortunate there with the kiss of the 6, but he'll take it. It still gives him a pot. But he's going to have to try and run for cover here, and that's a tough ask with this last 11 ball. And the chances are he's going to be in trouble in a minute. Although the way that's finished hasn't worked out too bad. He's blocked the pocket. You know, if you're going to miss, at least miss it and leave it over the pocket. Because Shibo's got no shot other than probably to try and clear the pocket. So, in fact, Shibo's actually hit the wrong ball first there. And now, well, I think this visit here, as tough as it's going to be to get good on that ball, could really make a big difference. And I think he's just managed to hold a line. Well, if this goes in, he's got to be on the 8. And this would be a good one to add to the scoreboard. And he's going to do it. And it's going to be 2 in a row. Which makes the scoreboard look a lot more respectable. And again, it's another, you know, it just doesn't matter. As long as you start putting numbers against your name, you can always improve and settle down. And Shibo's break this time. Well, the one good thing is he hasn't scratched. What to do, Rob, is even if you're not on, if you're not in Discord, well, what I mean is, even if you're not on there with any intention of chatting to anybody, just keep Discord up and running. Because that way, once I'm done, I'm hopefully going to go and get something to eat before the matches later on. And then I can get Discord booted up and send out the invite. But wait a minute. You get a pen. What's that? Hashtag 4214. Now, if it turns out I get you set all up, then you never know. Hairpig might appear and he wants to do it. And if that's the case, I'll throw the 2 of you in and let you do it. He hasn't said anything. I haven't seen him at all yesterday or this morning. Well, there's another bad miss. Another 10-foot table, not used to the angle, bad miss by Matthew. But it's those shots that he needs to cut out. If he can cut them out and pick up that consistency, he could still get himself in this game without a shadow of a doubt. And of course Shibo has obviously now got to pot them as well, so there's a wee bit of pressure on him just to keep Matthew at arm's length. And he's going to run this 10 ball down the rail past the one. Obviously after the 13, is it? A quick draw back. And kill the cue ball stone dead. Now I think he's drawn back a wee bit, which is actually not a bad thing, because he can stun this in and miss the 8 ball. He needs to dig down though. He doesn't want to be running into the 8 ball. And but what happens when you dig down? You push them offline. And tough as it might be for Matthew, it's a chance. And he's got no choice to cut this 2 into the side, but he may well brush into that 15 and needs to hope he gets lucky. Well, he's missed it, but he's also missed the pot. Has he got lucky? Maybe not. I think the 15 is just on, but again, it's a chance. And goodness me, Shibo has missed it as well. And well, Matthew, I don't think you're going to need any more invitations than this. This is a gilt-edged chance to get back within 1, and he's got an angle now. He wants to go forward. He doesn't want to. I mean, he can stun across, but I would tend to go forward and come up into the table. And he's stunned across, but he's now fell inside. Well, he's bounced a bit. That'll do. And of course, it was all down to the fact that Shibo had the table at his mercy. And there is that little bit of pressure there to back yourself up and actually run the table, and he failed. And all of a sudden, LegitMatthew's back to within 1. And the cue ball's gone again. Again, not controlling the cue ball is another cardinal sin of any game. You know, when you start just banging at a ball to make a combo, but you're not controlling the cue ball, stands to reason the cue balls can end up running into a pocket. Because there's no way it should have been anywhere near that. But now Matthew, with ball in hand, is going to have to... Well, I do believe he tried to draw into that 6 ball there and he's completely missed it. And I think that's why he's having a laugh, because he's drawn right up the table, completely missed the 6. The 6 is still locked up. And he's dead straight in the 1. Well, he could pot the 7. I think that's maybe as good a chance as any to just let the cue ball run. He's not even looking at it. Sometimes you've got to take that risk, and he may well not get another chance, but he's got an angle to run 2 rails into the back of the 8 ball off the 7 and bring something out, and then he has to get lucky and still have a shot though. But sometimes you do have to take that risk. So now his last opportunity will be stunning the cue ball and cutting this 5 to bring the cue ball across. So stop it there and cut that 5 and bring the cue ball that way. Let's see if we can get a little roll of the ball, but he has to get the pot first of all. Yeah, he's not playing that shot with any great deal of confidence because it needed to be a solid shot to get momentum into that cue ball, to get things moving. Having said that though, once again the best outcome's the fact that he found the gap between the 9 and the 8 and didn't disturb them. So again, Matthew's possibly going to get another bite at this, and Shibo is going to be tentative to try and take that 14 ball at the moment. I mean, he could take it right now and break out the 8, but he's declined it, so that tells you he's thinking a wee bit more defensively there, leaving it like that, but now he might have no choice. Well, he's going to finish in the bottom rail here. Again, he might be, he can stun this in and go on to either the 11 or the 9. And now is the time to make the critical move. But that 9 has again, that just it took the line off the cue ball there, and he didn't hit it hard enough either. So now he's got another tough shot, and once again, it's Matthew that's getting the chance to pinch it. And 20 minutes ago, it was looking like doom and gloom. Because it looked like Shibo was going to run away with this. Now Matthew's got a slight angle, so he can stun across, but he has to get across. He can't leave it halfway there. Well, he's trying to hold it past the 9, but the shot to play was a stun across. And once again, he's missed the vital part of it, potting that object ball. And Shibo has gone too low, but no prizes for guessing what he might try here. Just roll that 9 through and brush onto the 8 ball. It should be easy enough to do, but obviously has to get to rail. Or did he hasn't called a pocket yet, so I think he's just trying to nurse it on, and that's a good shot. That's what's more than likely going to give you a second shot at it. And Matthew is obviously just going to hit and hope. He's called the top pocket because you never know. But Shibo may well escape and regain a 2-rack lead here. Well, again, he's just simply got to do it. Somebody tell him I'm not getting involved. It's controlling S, isn't it? Oh no, it's not. It's controlling that funny. It's controlling that funny bracket thing, isn't it? Good afternoon to Hazad. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think it's the bracket that's to the left of your enter button in your keyboard. Controlling that funny bracket, I think, is how you call safety in VP4. See, LegitMatthew doesn't know how to call safety, so neither of the two of them know how to call it. Somebody can send Shibo a PM and tell him I think it's either the bracket just to the left of the enter button controlling that one, or if it's not that one, it's the one to the left of that. It's either of those two funny bracket things, the square bracket thing, that allows you to call safety in VP4. Yeah, that one. So if you're in VP4, send him a PM and tell him it's that one, and then he can bash buttons about and find out. So Shibo with a 2-rack lead on the solids. Just I think the 3 and the 2 to go, and the 8 ball very adjacent, which is the perfect way to do it. And he's now going to widen the gap again. But is that going to kill off Matthew for his chances? That rack's well tilted, or at least looks like it to me. By the way, Rob, are you still there? Because this is a thing I found out the other day on Discord. I didn't even know where invites appeared in Discord. I think it's the top right hand corner of the screen. I just found that out the other day. Yeah, I'll do that after this is finished. So Shibo, 3-rack lead, open table at the moment, and problems left and right side of the table, and also with the, what is it, the 11 and the 3. So there's a bit of movement required here for anybody to get the job done. Well, Matthew's getting totally confused. You don't nominate a pocket when you're playing a safety. That's why you're calling a safety. I think Steve mentioned it about players. I think he mentioned it in one of the streams earlier on in the tournament where players aren't calling safeties, and you know the simple reason is most of them don't know how to do it, and secondly, it's one tactic in your armoury that doesn't get used enough a lot of times. Now, am I right in saying that if you call a safety and the incoming player doesn't like the table, he can pass it back to you? Is that right? Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong there. Like in that sense, it's a bit like the push out in 9-ball. If you call a safety and you play a shot and the table's still ugly, you're not allowed to have the choice of playing or passing, because again, that's another thing that the players won't know. I thought that might be the rule. No, you can't. Ah, right. Well. So that's just a 10-ball rule. See, that's where I'm getting mixed up. Oh, Shibo on the solids. And he's got a dead solid on that left middle pocket. And straight away that situation there has to be taken advantage of if Matthew gets a visit, because Shibo's got a lot of work to do to break this out, and that's not the best angle to do it. He's trying to run the rail, get a chip. Well, that's worked out perfect. Couldn't ask for anything better than that. So that brief comeback from LegitMatthew has been snuffed out, and it's now an 8-4 lead for Shibo. Balls falling in all over the place, and again the cue ball's gone now. If I was Shibo, I'd be thinking about the control of the cue ball, because he's not doing that when he's breaking. He needs to look at the Larry break and bringing that cue ball maybe back in a straight line towards the short rail, rather than letting it run loose, because that's why he scratched, what, 3 times already. You know, if you're scratching in your break more than once, you're going to be maybe unlucky that the cue ball gets kicked in, but it's more likely that you're not breaking properly to let that cue ball run as loose. One option would be to take it away from the pack of balls and try and just get it running in a straight line. That might be a safer way to break than letting the cue ball fly. Because if it starts running around the table with 15 balls running around the table, there's a likelihood it's going to end up nowhere or in a pocket. So Matthew on the solids, and well, this is a delicate little one. If he's going to take the 2, I don't know whether he can get that 6. Let's have a look. It's another delicate one as well. I mean, he's if he lets this run around, he'll end up into the 15 and whatever one is on the rail. Yeah, he's trying to be delicate, but not really going through with the shot. Well, the 14 is either a drop through, which would be the simplest one. There's enough room to drop through and just play the 8 into the side. He's trying to draw back. He's got the control in the cue ball. And now it's probably way too much LegitMatthew to get back into this now. He would need far too much assistance to get back into this. The lead is 5. And this is going to end up being one of the quickest matches, I think. We're just short of the hour. At least that's the way it seems that it's going to be at the moment. But Matthew's hung the 10. Again, as I said earlier, you know, if you miss and you leave the ball there over the pocket, it's always a guard for those two solids in the right rail there, the 6 and the 1. Well, this cut in the 4 might break something out here. You certainly got to be thinking about that. And that has worked out nice. He certainly improved the situation. 6 ball still not going anywhere fast, but it's a lot better than it was 30 seconds ago. Now, had he been dead straight in that 7, he could have probably called the 7 and potted it onto the 10 and hopefully it'd have followed it in, but he's just got... He could still play that, but he doesn't really have a very nice 1 ball. He can drop it in, but there's not much else he can do, but it might go into the rail. And again, if he had been right on the rail, it'd have been much better to play the 6 onto the 10. Can still do it. Has to get it flush for it to fall in. Well, I think the way this table is right now, I think that's the shot to play. And I don't know why he's not doing it. Well, they tried really tough. 7 tried to get a little chip onto the 6. But the way it's finished, Matthew is going to have to open that pocket and all out to try and run the table to survive. And that's just done him. So now he's forced into probably taking this 12, although he might not like the potting angle on it, but he's taking the 11 instead. I don't like this choice. He should be taking the 12, but he's now guarded that pocket. Well, the 12's a tough ball, but you've got to take it if you're trying to run the table, because you're never going to get any better on that 12. And again, this is just simple shot choices that are letting him down. It was a tougher cut, but it had to be taken on, because his likelihood of getting anywhere better on that 12 was slim to 0. Shibo trying to kick the 7 in. And again, he's not got there. Now, why doesn't he call a safety and pot his 11 ball and leave the cue ball in the jaws and force LegitMatthew in trying to run these balls? He could have left it awkward in that pocket with his cue, but couldn't he have done that? You know, why couldn't he have just? Why couldn't Shibo just have called the safety and potted LegitMatthew's ball that was over the pocket and leave that cue ball right in the jaw, and then force Matthew having to play an awkward pot to start with? Well, he's now in that situation. He's at the table. He's got 3 balls to pot. The cue ball is of vital importance to get a hold of, to get nice on this 9, and he's done that. And he's got nothing simply, because the angle's actually perfect. He's just running to the side rail and he hasn't got there. He needs to get right over to the rail. And even that shot was a failure because he just hasn't got there. He's having to play cuts. But he's got one more. Break now back to Shibo. Racks are running out for Matthew. Still trailing before. And every time Shibo does this with a dry break, Matthew's immediately being asked the question, can you work a way out of taking these balls and winning this rack from this visit? Now the 8 ball goes. Now what did he pot there? Was that a solid? No, he's gone for stripes. Because there's like 4 solids down the bottom of the table here, all very close to the 8 ball. Well, there's 5 if you include the 3 ball, so that's even more onus on Matthew getting this done. Because if Shibo comes to the table, he's only got the 2 balls up the table, and everything else is working in and around the 8 ball. But this would be a great rack to. Oh, he's going to nudge the 2. He's okay. It'd be a great rack to get, especially from the dry break. It would be the first rack I think that Matthews actually ran, and he might be too straight in this, but he's just got there. Now if he cuts that ball into the side, he needs to make sure he's avoiding the 5 up the table. If he takes the 15, he's got a lot more work to do. He needs to stun this firm so that he can get to the right side of the table as we look, like that. Now, what's that angle like? Well, he can go forward. It's touch and go with the angle he's got. If there's enough for him to miss the 6 and go to the rail and come in the gap between the 4, well, he's hit the 6. So that's answered that query. And now he's got no shot other than to try and, can he call the bank? Well, that's tight. So Shibo's gone favourite to get to the hill. Now Matthew hasn't called a pocket yet, although he's not got very many options available, I'm afraid. Is he going up table? Yep. Trying to call it in the corner. It's not threatening the pocket. So Shibo, open invitation to the party. So, and he's failed straight away because there's no way he was playing that 1 ball. He wanted to get rid of these 3 balls here first of all, and he's gone short and blocked himself out. And now he's having to do it another way. Another little one that's offline, and that's why he misses him. The commentator's eye's never wrong, and Matthew gets his gift and survives to fight another day. And again, just the line on the 3 ball was at that angle where these players aren't used to the 10-footer. And of course, combine that with the fact that Shibo's going too quick and not settling himself, that's why he missed it. And Matthew's break, dry. Loads of stripes down this bottom end of the table. And 2 of them are a problem. I think that would favour the solids for me, but you've got 2 solids down in amongst this mixture here, so there's a dilemma for your choice, but the decision has been made, and those 2 balls somehow need improving, and there's an opportunity to do that off the 12, and that's what he's looking at. He's looking to just nudge into them off the pot in the 12. But again, you just need that little break to still be in a shot, and he is going to be. And now the other major issue, let's have a closer look at this 9 ball, because that is probably the ugliest spot to be in the table. I mean, that's right on the point. And well, it's anybody's guess how you get to that one. So that's the lifeline that Matthew's got in this rack. As long as that 9 ball stays there, Shibo ain't running this table. Well, there's the speak of the devil, and Hairpig's arrived. So you haven't been here, Hairpig, but we've got this match this afternoon, and we've got 2 matches that clash later on in just under 2 hours time at 6 o'clock GMT, the match between Cobra and DJ Simon. And we've also got the match between Fast Eddie and Mr. Strokem at the same time, and that's the match I'm going to be streaming later on for the reasons that I explained earlier. Well, I actually explained them twice. I went through all the explanation for 10 minutes with my mic muted and then I had to explain it again. So Matthew doesn't have to worry about that 9 ball. He's on the solids, but I thought he was going to actually play the 2 there off the 9. If he does that, that's fatal. That's a fatal move, doing that right now, because if it goes in off the 9 and he breaks it out like that, he's done for. That's a worst shot choice of the day right there, because he has to now get it done. Now, whether that's a good thing that he's put himself under pressure to do it, I don't know. It's more like a bad thing, because that consistency hasn't been there enough in order for him to run this table. But we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, there was nothing wrong with leaving that 2 ball as the last ball to get to the 8, because it's always then got you a lifeline. Now, he might have thought he might not get any better in the 2, but I just think bringing that 9 ball into play was a bad move if he doesn't do this, and he'll live to regret that. And now this is a vital one, and now it's a little stun across, or he can run through past the 14. And well, there you go. The commentator has been proved right, because he ain't got there in the 8, and that's why Shibo should be on the hill. He's going to try and jump, but I think he's got 2 chances of doing that. And that's a tactical error that came back to bite him big time, because he could not back himself and keep that cue ball in good shape, which has been his downfall. It was his downfall in the first match against Steve. The two of them are at it, you know, really struggling for consistency and finding shots and finding that next ball. And when you know you've got, well, when you know Shibo's doing stuff like this, you still might have a chance. You know, this goes, but there's no way on earth they should have been here. If Run Out Rob is there, I'll let him explain it to you. And of course, Shibo has caught the same disease, but again, he's missed it, and he's left an awkward cut into the side, which Matthew has got to take on, of course. And he still has a chance to survive for yet another rack. And he doesn't want to let this cue ball start running all over the place, and he's done the right thing there, Bill. That's another, that match should have been on the hill there, because again, that was a really poor shot by Shibo to find himself in the worst possible spot on that 12 ball. And Matthew got out of jail there big time. But as I said, he can't do anything else now in this match without assistance from Shibo, and Shibo's duly obliging. He could have been home and dry now, but he's given those chances. Matthew's missed his fair share of them, but he's done enough of them, and he's still now only 2 behind. Well, Rob doesn't seem to be there, I don't think. I think Rob's gone. And Shibo again with a miss into the side. Well, it's not an easy starter. There's a cut in the 3. There's an awkward cut in the 4. And there's the 1 and the 6 are side by side, but the 6 and the 1 both go. They don't need to be touched. I think I would have taken the 3 to start me off, even though it was further away. I would have taken that, because again, he's running into balls, and again, that's something that you don't want to be doing. And Matthew's not left anything good for Shibo, but as I say, you don't want to go near balls when you don't have to, when you've got another option. There, well, do you want me to explain it, Rob, or are you going to explain it? Now, what's he calling here? Calling the 2 ball into the side in the bank. And it's big pocket. That was a good shot. And we know that the 1 and the 6 go, they don't need to be touched. And the 4 and the 7 go as well, I think. No, they don't. Ah, they do. 7 just squeezes past, I think. Well, again, the problem is the 15 ball. It's blocking the path of the 8, and Matthew should be leaving that 1 ball as his last ball, I still think it'd be fatal if he doesn't leave the 1, because if he takes the 1 as his last ball, the 8 balls adjacent, and he doesn't have to do much with the cue ball. So that's what he should be doing. Again, he's made sure he's come down the table. It still should be that 3 ball, then the 1, or the 5 ball, whatever the hell ball it is up there. I can't be bothered looking. It is the 3. Now, again, the simple shot would be just to pot that and come through, leave the 8 up the table without doing, you know, miracles with the cue ball. He just has to get it, the pace right. I mean, if he goes a wee bit too far to the right, he's got 8 into the side. And he's not quite got to the line, because he's now pushing it not straight into the pocket. He's having to just play this at the right pace, that if it goes slightly towards the jaws, the pace will take it in, but he's undercut that, or overcut it, should I say, by quite a margin, and it's not the first time that's happened. We've seen it happen with quite a few players. Again, it's the 10-foot blues, as I'm going to call it. Yeah, well, I'll explain it to you, here, Pig. Rob came in. He did what you did the other day. I was up and running underway. I haven't got Discord on because I wasn't expecting anybody on, and I never put Discord on unless I do expect somebody on. And Rob came in asking if I wanted company. Well, he said company, and it didn't twig in my head what he meant. I thought I'd missed something else in the chat. But Rob was wanting to come in the commentary, and I said, look, I'm not tabbing out to start sending out invites and all of that, because Rob's not on the commentary, in the commentary booth. So I said I would do it after this. And I also said to Rob that it may well be that Hairpig turns up and wants to do this match tonight, and if he does, I'm going to stick the 2 U's in. So like it or lump it, that's what's going to happen. And now we'll see who bottles out. So anyway, more important matters at the moment. Shibo's now on the hill, and well, it's been a list of errors all the way through this match from both sides. And you never know, I might get a PM from Steve saying he wants to do it, in which case I'll then have to throw the 2 U's out the door. Mind you, I don't know, Steve might have wanted to do Cobra's match, but that's not the one I'm intended to do, for the reasons I explained earlier. So Shibo on the stripes, and well, he's looking good at the moment, because he's going to have very little to do to get on that 8 ball. Just kill the cue ball there. Just a gentle cut. Doesn't need to do anything with the cue ball other than just get it into play, and he's home and dry. But this table's caught out players right from the start, and reading these angles and the longer distances you have to travel. And LegitMatthew, it's went the way I thought it would in the end. Shibo would be the stronger player. He's won 11 racks to 7, but it could have been closer than that had Matthew took those racks early on when he had good strong chances, and he failed each time because he couldn't get the job done. And that's what happens to players of that level. You know, you're eventually going to get found out. So there's work to do for Shibo as well. You know, I don't think he'll be putting any more time. So his table time's probably going to be in the practice room again anyway. So let's see now. We've got it confirmed that Shibo is now going to play Mr. Bill. So Shibo's going to be dangerous, but this time Bill should be the favourite between the two of them. But it could go close if Shibo finds his feet. So it's a dangerous match for Bill. Bill's got to be careful. And then Albinario is waiting on that result from semi-pro tomorrow night with MC Clarkey. That should be a good match to watch. 7:35 GMT, I'll be there for it. And then further down, we've got the three remaining matches today. We've got the Cobra DJ Simon match at 6 PM, and we've also then got Fast Eddie against Mr. Strocum at the same time. That's the match that we're going to be doing. And further down at 9 PM my time GMT, it's Disabler against Jeeves. I won't be there for that one, but I will be back for the Mr. Strocum Fast Eddie match. So with that, guys, before you all bail out, if you're still there, Rob, I'm going to boot up Discord and try and get this thing sorted out. See if I can send this invite out to you and get everything else set up on the commentary booth before later on, so don't run away. But with all that, we're done for now. I'm going to go and get dinner after I've sorted out Rob. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you can join us later on tonight. If you can't, remember, it will be on my YouTube channel. Now, one thing to mention, my YouTube channel is on 498 subscriptions. So I think I made 2 subscriptions for the other day. So if you're on Twitch and you haven't subscribed to me on YouTube, for God's sake, go to 9ball.com on YouTube. Just type that into YouTube, you'll find me, and just subscribe anyway. Even if you don't watch it on YouTube, I don't care. As long as you subscribe on it, get me to 500. So we'll see you later, guys. Take care, and if you can, join us later on. Till then, I'll bid you good afternoon, and I'll see you, Rob, in a minute if I can.